Yo, what's going on? What's going on? This is Edward Williams, founder and creator of Health by Any Means Necessary. And wanted to get on here and address a question that I've been getting a lot, and that is, what do we get with the challenge that we have coming up? So, for those who don't know, we are currently in the middle of our launch for our program called the Fast Life 28-Day Challenge. The challenge will start on Monday, and the final day to sign up is going to be Saturday night, Sunday morning. That depends on how many of the spots get filled, because we do have a capacity, and once we reach that capacity, then we won't be able to accept anybody else. So that's another reason why you want to go ahead and sign up. Now, so let's talk about what all you get in the challenge. So first of all, you have 3 coaches. Well, first of all, let's start with who the challenge is good for. So the challenge is good for anybody who wants to just improve their health overall, right? Specifically, if you are dealing with high blood pressure, if you're dealing with type 2 diabetes, PCOS, fatty liver, obesity, or you just want to lose weight, lose fat specifically, or if you just want to improve your overall health, this will be a great challenge for you. If you're dealing with food addiction, this is a great challenge for you. This is really a great challenge for you if you're dealing with food addiction. Emotional eating as well. But largely the members that we've been helping out have been dealing with high blood sugar, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and weight loss. So essentially what you get in this challenge, first, you're going to have 3 coaches. Now, these just aren't any kind of 3 coaches that you may find in many challenges. These are 3 coaches who specifically have a strong vested interest in our community, the black community. So first up, we have myself. I am Edward Williams. I'm the founder and creator of Health by Any Means Necessary. By day, I'm a PA, physician assistant, so I'm seeing patients over here in Florida. I've been practicing medicine for about 5 years now. I'm also a personal trainer. I'm a nutritionist as well, fat loss specialist. Been doing this thing for a while. Been coaching for about almost 15 years, I think now. Started out when I was in the military. I continued on when I was playing football for University of South Florida over here. Then went to school to learn what I'm doing right now. So I've been helping out people for a very long time as pertains to not just health, but just achieving their goals. And so the aspect that I bring to the challenge is dealing with the medical conditions, the medical issue. I will cause a paradigm shift in the way you look at many of these conditions, and that's going to be largely due to the actual courses that we have. So I went through, because I couldn't understand why our community specifically is dealing with the conditions that we're dealing with at such a high level, why we were dying at such a high rate as pertains to these conditions that were preventable, such as heart disease, diabetes, type 2, strokes. I just couldn't figure out why. And so what I did was I took the Malcolm X approach, and he says, in his book, he talks about how this country goes in for the surface glossing over, and how it only wants to deal with superficial issues, because dealing with superficial issues is highly lucrative. Because when you deal with superficial issues, you'll never get down to the root, and as long as you don't get down to the root, the problem can continue on, while the people think that they're getting results. They're not getting results, they're only getting superficial resolution. So Malcolm X said, go to the root. And so essentially what I had to do, which was very painful on a neurological level, was throw away a lot of the things I received in school and start from the basics, the very basics, which is anatomy and physiology, understanding our disposition here in this country, here in this world, understanding the history of those who we call African Americans in this country, understanding our natural habitat, our natural home, understanding the impacts on a people or a culture, how they are impacted when they have their land stripped, or when they're stripped away from their land, how it impacts them when they have their language stripped away from them, how it impacts them when they have their culture stripped away from them, how it impacts them when they have their religion stripped away from them, their way of life, the way they see health, the way they see sickness, the way they see each other as men and women. So I had to study that first. I need to understand how this impacts a people, specifically us, when you have those things stripped away from you. And it's a huge impact. In fact, uh, most literature says that those people who have those things ripped away from them should not be able to uh, live past 100 years, because you're talking about such a disruption in their psychology. Because what's going to eventually happen, I'll try to make sure I get back to the point. What's going to happen is a process called acculturation process. Acculturation process is when you have two cultures that meet up, but one of the cultures, the oppressive culture, is now going to supplant the original culture, and then that culture that comes from those who are oppressing will now become the operating system for those people, and they will now see their lives and themselves through the lens of those who hate them, through the lens of those who only came to oppress them. That's a huge problem, and this is why we have to throw away many of what we have been taught here in this country as pertains to African American people. So I had to start from there, right? And I had a little bit of a boost because I come from Beaufort, South Carolina. I'm part of people called Gullah Geechee. Gullah Geechee, we're called the unconquered because we still hold on to our culture as it pertains to our African traditions. It's not the same anymore, but you have those who still rep the culture. So I still rep my culture. You still have a couple of the youth back home and also, out in the country as well, still repping the culture. But I always knew because we have the African village right down the road. We have many things in that area that represent Africa, our traditions. I always knew that I had a connection to Africa, but of course, I had to go and do that work and dig deep to find out exactly what it is, what it means to represent. So, nonetheless, understanding how being ripped away from that and having to start from ground zero, but not only ground zero. So it would have been fine if we started from ground zero. Starting from ground zero, people can recoup, or people can get back to where they need to be. But we didn't start from ground zero. We started from -1 million zero, because once again, the acculturation process means that you will now take on the mindset and the views and the ideas of those who hate you. So if you started at ground zero, it means you're just amongst each other. So starting from ground zero means like you just figure things out yourself amongst you and your people. You figure out what's good, you figure out what's bad, and from there you start a culture. However, the acculturation process takes you back about 1 million steps, because everything you have is essentially toxic. The way you look at yourself is going to be toxic. The way you feel about yourself and the people who look like you is going to be toxic. And so that's a whole nother conversation. But we need to understand that that's a real aspect as pertains to our people and what we see, how we respond to each other, and a lot of things we do is directly linked to what they call post-traumatic slave syndrome. That's a great book you can go check out by Dr. Joyce DeGuri. So I deal with the medical aspect in the challenge. High blood pressure. You get a course. I'm going to tell you that high blood pressure is not a disease. I'm going to show you what high blood pressure is, and we're also going to work on how to improve it. Same thing with type 2 diabetes. I'm going to go against the grain and cause a paradigm shift as pertains to what type 2 diabetes is, really informing you on what the body is as a whole, how the body is intelligent, how the body is designed to heal, repair, and regulate itself without the use of medications. I talk about PCOS. We talk about strokes, heart disease, the kidneys, so obesity, cholesterol, all these things that we're dealing with in our community. I go through and I break it down, but it's going to be different from what you've been hearing from the mainstream. And so that's one of the great benefits of being in this challenge, because you're going to get empowered, you're going to get educated. We're not just going to tell you what to do. Don't do that. Don't do this. No, we're not going to treat you like children, like so many of the other programs are going to do. What we're going to do is come to you as a brother or sister and say, listen, this is what's going on. This whole thing they call high blood pressure, well, before we talk about how we deal with it, let's look at what high blood pressure is. We explain to you what the cardiovascular system is. We explain to you what the endothelial lining is. We explain to you how the body will adapt and adjust to its environment. And so we explain to you all those things. We make sure you have a very decent grasp on your own body because you're in it 24/7, 365 days out of the year. So we make sure you have a very a strong grasp of what anatomy and physiology is, because that's your ground zero for health defense. So and once you understand what it is, then you understand that it's not about reversing, it's about making the body adapt, because the only reason it is this way is because it's adapting to that environment. So if we change the environment, the body would now adapt to this environment, which would be a healthy environment and a healthy adaptation. We take away all that spookiness. We take away all that it runs in your family. We take away all that mama got it, daddy got it, so I'm gonna get it. We take away the spookiness of it just being genetic. We take away all of that spookiness, and we just show you what it is. We show you what we recommend you do. You do it. We monitor you. We check in with you on a daily basis. On a daily basis, we check in with you. We help motivate you. We help keep you in line with your goals. We help remind you of why you said you wanted to do this, because it's not just about I'm going to do this challenge for 28 days. No, there's a reason why you're doing it. There's a reason why you're here. We need to make sure we need to make sure we find out why, and we dig deep on that why. We dig 5 levels deep on that why. So yeah, you might have said I'm coming in here because I want to lose weight. Why? Because I know it's unhealthy. Why do you care about being healthy? Because I got kids. Why do you need to be healthy for them? So it sounds crazy at first until you get to that 5th why, and then the emotions come out, and it might be a little bit of a tear jerker when we find out, that you want to make sure that you're here for your children, because you know the pain that is invoked when you lose a parent at an early age, and you now have to go through life without that parent that you love so much and you have such fond memories of, and you don't want your child to have that same type of pain. That is a hell of a motivation. So we make sure we get you to dig deep throughout the reasons of why you're doing the challenge. So yeah, long story short, which is already long, my job, my role in the challenge is to deal with the medical aspects, the health conditions, to also show you why they're preventable and why they're reversible, and that's what I do in the challenge. I also do the fitness aspect. We have workout videos. We talk about working out, why it's important, why movement's important. The next we have Kathleen Richardson. Kathleen Richardson is the owner of Kathleen Richardson is the owner of Beauty and a Barbell. She's an African holistic health coach and an African holistic nutritionist. Her role in this challenge, she deals with, of course, nutrition. She deals with a lot of the emotional and the psychological aspects. And the reason why this is so important for us is because you're getting it from a black perspective. You're not just getting it from the perspective that someone got in a school, and they may not understand our disposition here in America. They may not understand our culture. And those things are important. Those things are very important. You think you can just, look, there are things that are just very true, and that applies to everybody. But when you get down to a cultural level or a cultural aspect or a historical aspect, you have to take those things into account when you're giving advice. And so Kathleen does a great job, of talking about the emotional connection to food, why whole foods is so important for us. She also talks about, she deals a lot with the feminine aspect, as far as, this is great for women, because she talks about a lot of the women, the female issues as well too. And so she takes care of that aspect, and she does a great job on it. She has courses on there as far as, why water, the importance of water, emotional eating, GMOs, organic versus non-organic, and so you get a lot of that as well. And so we all come together and we coach you on a daily basis. Every day we're going to check in with you. So we have 5 habits that we're doing on a daily basis. These habits are practical and they're sustainable. They're not anything that you can't continue to do for the rest of your life. They're not anything that's going to stress you the hell out. They're not anything that's going to be foreign and strange. You're not counting your calories. We're not having you pee on a keto stick to measure your ketones. We're not having you do any of those things. Hold on real quick. I got a patient.
Yes,
who's that?
Ramon.
Okay, he already did an ADL?
He did an ADL before. He did his ROS. Now re-exam.
Okay, all right. I'll be in there to see him.
Okay.
Sorry for that, yeah.
Take your time. I'll put him on ice.
So, yes, back to daily. All right, so we have 5 habits. We're not having you do anything crazy at all. The habits we're going to empower you and educate you as far as why we're doing these habits, why they're so powerful, and we're going to actually measure the improvements you're going to have, because every day while you're doing the habits, we're going to check in with you. You have a daily check-in that's going to hit your your email, your inbox every day. This will be the daily tracker. This daily tracker will track your habits, so you will have to check off yes or no. Did you do XYZ? Yes or no? Did you do XYZ? Yes or no? And so we're going to be seeing that as they come in on a daily basis. You're going to be able to communicate with us as far as what type of issues you may or may not be having. Any type of issues you're having, obstacles, or any type of wins you're having as well too. We're going to see that on a daily basis. Also, when every week we're going to have what we call a family meeting. So every Sunday we have our family meeting. This is where we come together on a Facebook platform. We do a live. It's only us. We do our live. We celebrate your wins. We help you overcome your obstacles. We help motivate each other. We're there to support each other. We talk about what happened the week that has passed by, and then we talk about what to expect coming up. Also, every week we have different videos and different modules and courses and lessons that you'll be learning. Like I said, we have one on water. We have one on GMO foods. We have one on organic food. We have one on whole foods. We have one, I'm doing the courses, so blood pressure, diabetes, fasting. We have multiple modules on fasting, to actually teach you about fasting, the side effects that you may, be experiencing, just a lot of tips on what to do and what to expect and why it's so important and why it's so powerful for you to implement this in your lifestyle. We also have a Facebook group. The Facebook group is just for the members only. Within this Facebook group, we communicate with each other on a daily basis. We're there to motivate. We're there to support, because we understand that every day it's not going to be, you're not going to be a hero every single day you wake up. You're going to have those ups and you're going to have those downs. And on those down days, we want to make sure that we're there to support you. We want to make sure we're there to help you keep things in perspective, align you back up with your goals, remind you why you're doing this, give you any kind of helpful tips, any kind of words of wisdom. And it's not just the coaches, it's the whole entire group. So that's one of the major things, we lack. Not just when we're trying to improve our health, but just when we're trying to do anything that is anything that's progressive. Too many times we don't have that support. And yeah, you can still do it, you can still be successful, but we all know that we work way better as a tribe, especially if a tribe is progressive. A tribe is working in the same direction. They actually want to see you all succeed. We work way better. And that's what we have in this group. That's what we have in this challenge. What else? So yeah, you get the meal plan. So everybody's going to have meal plans. You're going to have a workout plan. You're going to have those courses. You're getting a whole lot. You're getting a whole lot. And then plus, like I said, I think the most valuable thing about the challenge is the Facebook group, because it's support. Like the support is not something that you can buy. And the support is legit. It's organic. It's 100%. So this is perfect for anybody who's dealing with those conditions, but it's also a perfect gift as well too. So you have your family members who are out there trying to improve their health, and they feel lost, they feel stuck. They're not really sure where to get started. Their doctors are only throwing medications at them. The doctors are really not informative as it pertains to eating or moving or anything like that. Yo, send them over here. I mean, because I can tell you what they're going to get over there. I've done many videos. I can tell you what they're going to get over there. They're going to get management, okay? They're going to get disease management, because for the most part, them folks ain't got time to try to help you get healthy. And that's unfortunate, but that just is what it is, all right? So now you have to decide, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? If you're tired of the subtle abuse, the systemic abuse, come back in 3 months and let me write you down a prescription. If you're tired of the come back in 3 months and let me increase the dose. If you're tired of the come back and, now you have no side effects, let's try another medication. If you're tired of that, and you know that is what's going to happen, that has been what is happening historically, what are you going to do about it? You have to understand that This life is yours. You are in full control of your life. You may not have realized it, but it's time that you realize that you are 100% in control of your life. Therefore, whoever you're working with, practitioner, doctor, nurse practitioner, PA, whoever, you need to understand that they are there to assist you. They are not there to dictate your movements. They are not there to tell you what to do. They are there to make recommendations, suggestions, and work with you. So what we have done, what too many of us have done is pretty much outsourced our health. Outsourced our health to people who may or may not really have your best interest in hand. And it's not even so much the actual people themselves. It's more so the system. It's the system, okay? You gotta understand the system is ran by guidelines and protocols. Those guidelines and protocols get made up by a group of people who sit on a board or a panel. When you look in the pockets, in the bank accounts, and the wallets of these board members, and these panel members, you're going to see 9 times out of 10. Now you think that's high, right? You think I might be like fudging numbers. You think I may be BSing a little bit. Well, if you go and look at the last blood pressure recommendation, that when they decreased it, when you go and check these people who sat in the board members who actually dictated what your blood pressure should be, 9 out of 10 of the board members had ties to pharmaceutical industries that make blood pressure medications. Now, look, sure, they can still make a honest and trustworthy assessment of what your blood pressure should be, or they can keep it gang and say we need no blood pressure all the way down to 110 over 80 because we know that's extremely hard, and we know if we make the recommendations to come all the way down low, most people won't be able to do that just by walking or like that. Therefore, they have to take our medications. So we know by lowering the actual requirements, we create a whole new market. It's called disease creep. You can look it up. I did a whole entire video on it. So this is the thing, most of what I guess I'm not fighting against them, the system. There's no point in doing that. Why would I do that? If I did that, that only means that I believe in this fantasy. That believes I believe in this fairy tale that they're going to change. Why would I believe that? In order for me to believe that, I would now have to throw away years and years and years and years of history. Historically, this healthcare system, along with the country, have shown us they don't like you like that. They just don't like you like that. They're showing you that. Don't believe me? Pick up a book called Medical Apartheid. Read about the sister named Anarcha Westcott. Read about the Tuskegee experiment. Read about Henrietta Lacks. Do I need to keep on naming these people? And so, historically, you can deny it if you want, but historically, this country has shown you, this healthcare system has shown you, we don't like you like that. Therefore, it doesn't make sense to me that we will continue to rely on a system that historically has sat back and watched us suffer in pain, do these harsh experiments on it. It just doesn't make sense for me to sit back and allow my people to continue to go into this burning building. Yeah, it's a burning building. It doesn't make sense for me to sit back and not only watch it, but help push y'all in there by telling you, hey, yeah, so this is how you take this medication. This is what you need to do, when I know the medications don't work. So I can't do that. And so I'm not going to fight them, because in warfare, we call that, if they get me to focus on them and their issues and try to convince them to fix their issues, that's a strategy. That's a strategy. It's called bureaucracy, the bureaucracy of spinning the wheels, or something like that. But pretty much, I would spend all my intellectual energy and all my time fighting to try to convince people who know what they're doing that they shouldn't do what they're doing. Good luck with that. Pretty much, I would spend my life begging the hustler not to hustle us. Well, when you beg the hustler not to hustle you, you get hustled. Facts, 100% of the time, it doesn't work out. Therefore, I'm not going to speak to them. I'm speaking to y'all. I'm speaking to my people. I'm speaking to us. I'm speaking because this is where the ancestral mandate comes into play. So when I say I speak, I have to answer the higher ups. Look, that's the ancestral mandate. I can't sit here and, preach their protocol. I can't do it. Nor will I try to convince them. My job is to speak to you all. I'm speaking to my brothers, my sisters, my community, those who I love, those who I literally have a vested interest in because I have kids, and there's a chance that my kids might be with your kids, or vice versa, or somehow, but we're going to all affect each other. Therefore, for me to sit back and watch our community continue to go on this trend that we're going on, this downtrend, would be treasonous. So, I'm speaking to y'all. I'm coming to y'all. I'm not going to them. Let them do what they do. Let them figure that stuff out. We ain't got nothing to do with that. We worry about us. All right? And so by worrying about us, this is the program that we created for us. It's for us, by us. All right? So I got a patient that's waiting. I'm about to go see my patient. But yeah, if you have any questions, what's going on, Melissa? What's going on, Cornelius? I appreciate y'all. These are two of our members as well. If you have any questions, please comment below on this post. Share this video. Make sure you get the word out. It's our community. It's our responsibility. Waiting on somebody else to come in and help us get better, it's not going to work. It's not a good strategy, okay? It's not a good strategy. So we have to do it ourselves. So I appreciate you all. I got to get in here and see this patient. And I'll be back on here later on today. I'll let y'all later, all right? Peace.